Hello again everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another speed build video in The Sims 4. Happy Thursday. I hope you're all having the most amazing day ever so far and thank you so much for joining me here today. So today we are in San Myshuno and we are building a super tiny New York inspired apartment, and I say New York inspired quite loosely because this is my sort of interpretation of what a New York City apartment might look like. I know that there are much smaller apartments in New York, I know there are much larger apartments in New York, but I was scrolling through TikTok around about 2 or 3 weeks ago now, and you know the deal with TikTok. As soon as you see one sort of video, then like very similar videos end up coming up on the screen. And I remember I randomly saw a video about this person who was interviewing these people on the street and saying, I mean, I know it's all set up, do you want to come and can I come and see your apartment? And I remember one of the people taking him back to the apartment, and it was so small and cute and homey, and I was like, I have to try and build something like that in The Sims. And I've only just really got round to it mainly because I was kind of struggling with what I might want to do with something like this, how I could integrate it into my own style and how I could actually execute the idea. So I finally sat down last night and came up with this sort of idea, and I actually had a lot of fun, and I also really like how it turned out. So please let me know in the comments down below what your thoughts are. If you want me to do an even smaller apartment, what sort of sim should we build it for? I'd love to maybe do one on stream, because I am thinking about doing a stream some point very shortly, which brings me on to my next topic. The stream that was meant to be happening on Wednesday has been delayed, so a new date will be issued very shortly, so I will keep you all up to date on that one, but I just thought that was worth mentioning. It's not something that I've forgotten about or anything like that. The stream has just been delayed. Anyway, so we are currently working on the little kitchen area here, and this space here along with the living area are definitely my favourite areas of the apartment. The bathroom took some play testing for my sim to be able to use it, because it's a 2x2 bathroom, which means it's 4 squares big, and I definitely had some issues with routing, and I wanted to make sure I play tested this apartment thoroughly before I uploaded it to the gallery. And yes, it took some doing, so I did end up doing that off camera. So what you see at the end of the video is not a sort of reflection of what the bathroom looks like in the actual apartment, because I ended up changing the shower out for the one that came with the Discover University pack. I don't know why I almost forgot the name of the pack there, but yes, I ended up swapping that out just so that my sim could actually route around the bathroom properly. And then as you can see here, this is like the living area of the apartment. It was really important for me to keep these beautiful windows just in like this bay sort of window area as well, because I wanted as much light to come into the apartment as possible, because obviously it's quite a small unit. I could have definitely made it smaller, don't get me wrong, but I didn't want to scare myself on my first attempt. So I definitely think this is a very good starting point. As I was saying, let's maybe challenge ourselves the next time I do something like this, and let's make it maybe like half the size or something silly. But I thought this was a good starting point anyway. So I do end up using this rug from the werewolves pack because I loved how sort of run down it looked, because the entire apartment itself is quite run down. It's definitely not modern or up to date or anything like that. It's not like shabby or anything like that either. It's sort of like a really nice balance between the two. So I really like this sort of style, and I love putting the items together to sort of get the theme across, because working on interiors such as this is probably one of my favorite things to do in The Sims. So I would definitely like to explore some more options, whether it's an apartment or more realistic sort of rundown house and stuff like that. I'd definitely like to explore more of them this year. But this is the living space, as I was saying, and I really like how bright and mismatched and just full of love it is. I feel like this apartment is just full of love. I didn't give too much thought as to the sim that lives here. I just knew that they're possibly quite artistic and they have either a dog or a cat, because I do end up putting a pet bowl in the kitchen, and possibly not a cat, because there's probably not much room for a litter tray or anything like that. So maybe they've got a small dog or something like that. I feel like that would be a really good option. And yeah, I love this apartment so much. I'd really like to see if anyone could maybe create a sim that they feel would match this apartment quite well. I think that would be kind of a fun challenge, or whether it's something that I do and then play it out, I don't know. But this apartment definitely, it kind of captured me, and it's definitely made me want to do more of these and also possibly play in this as well. It's not very often that I say that about my builds, but with things like this, with apartments like this, it definitely makes me want to roll up my sleeves, get into CAS and create a sim. Something else also worth noting here as well, the setup of some of the items in the living room there, I do end up rejigging them slightly just to make sure that my sim could get through, because as I was doing this, if you noticed at the start, I did keep the grid on for around 10-15 seconds of the footage, because I was just trying to work out the space between mainly the appliances in the kitchen, but I then turned it off because I just hate building with the grid on, and also it's not a very nice experience for you all when you're watching it back, like having a nasty grid on the screen. So that's one of the main reasons I take it off as well. But then what I did realize is when I was playtesting is that a lot of the items are not at least half a square apart. Now, Sims need at least half a square to be able to route between different objects and items. And obviously without the grid on, it's really difficult to try and navigate that, and really difficult to sort of try and work out how many like squares there actually are between the objects. So I do shuffle some things around off camera, but it doesn't ruin the aesthetic or anything like that. I also add a couple of items off camera as well, such as like a vacuum cleaner and various cracks on the walls and things like that, because when I initially started the apartment, I didn't necessarily want it to be like really run down, and it's still not, even with the cracks and like some of the holes in the walls, but it's just a little bit more detailing that I wanted to add to the overall apartment look. So if you're not a fan of them, just take them off. So yes, and I love the fact that I use this cooker from, is it from base game or is it from City Living? I know City Living came with one, and there's one in the base game. I feel like that one's maybe from City Living because it's the one that looks kind of worn down and used and decrepit. So I do end up putting that in the kitchen, which I just think adds to the overall effect. This is the teeny weeny tiny bedroom. If you wanted to put a single bed in here, then please go ahead. I just wanted to put a double bed in here in case you had two Sims here that you wanted to live in, because they can shuffle over onto the other side of the bed now. So this could fit two Sims and a pet, which might be kind of fun too. So you can absolutely do that if you want to. There's not much going on in this room, obviously, because of the size of the room. I didn't want to overdo it with the clutter, or I didn't want there to be just too much going on because it's such a small room. Although I do like the fact that there's a window. I think that makes everything feel a little less claustrophobic, which is always good. But then I just end up adding some more items onto the walls here, and then I believe I start to reshuffle some of the items around the apartment, but I can't remember if I do that on camera or off camera. We'll have to wait and see together. And then I was trying to figure out what to put on this wall, so I do end up adding this frame here. I think it's from the Myshuno stuff packs that your Sims can just add their own photographs in there, which I thought was a really cute, sweet idea. So it's not very often that I add items like that to my builds, but it just means that when you guys move your Sims in here, then you can make it a lot more like personal. And then this is the bathroom, so this is the final room of the build, and then that's pretty much it for the video. So a nice short and sweet one this time around, but you can grab this apartment from the gallery right now if you'd like to download it. My origin ID is RachelPedd. Tray files, as always, are linked down in the description box below. You can get them for free from Sim File Share. Also worth noting, I do add a chest of drawers in the hallway there so that your Sims can get changed. I just thought I'd add that in there because I haven't actually spoken about it. But thank you all so much for joining me here today. I hope you all have an amazing rest of your day. You all take care, and I will see you next time I post a video. Bye!